What's up, everybody? It's your boy J No A here, Jason Fredericks. I'm here talking about the news that we got today that the Seattle group that was looking to purchase the Sonics from the Maloof family to get the Sacramento Kings and then move them to Seattle, play in Key Arena for maybe a year or two, and then have the new arena built, which is, I think, scheduled to be finished in 2015. The vote came in from the Finance and Relocation Committee today. It was a panel of 12 of those people, and they voted unanimously to keep the Kings in Seattle. And that's strange to me. The unanimous part, not that they kept them there. It seemed like a lot of people thought everybody was on the fence because Seattle, the Seattle group headed by Hansen and Ballmer, where they had a pretty strong case. They had crossed every T, dotted every I. They gave the Maloof family the $30 million to hold the team when they purchased the team. They had the agreement. They even were going to buy the 7% of the negative debt that the guy that went bankrupt had. They were going to buy that. They even upped their offer. I think it was $20 million to $550 million total of the purchase price of what they were going to give. And to have all that, to have your team torn away from you from Seattle a few years ago when Oklahoma City left with Clay Bennett and his people, and to do everything right, do everything the NBA asks you to do, get stuff approved, go through legislation, and all those type of things, and to have that ripped away from you, that is gut-wrenching for the city of Seattle. Now, I do want to give hats off to the city of Sacramento and Mayor Kevin Johnson for his diligent effort and his fight to keep the team in Sacramento. I mean, the dude put up a fight. I mean, when it looked all hope was lost, Kevin Johnson had faith, man, to keep the team there. And he did everything he needed to do to keep them there. And I can't hate him for that. I think the thing that sucks is the Maloofs asked for things several times. And even when they came to a deal with the city, it seemed that something happened there. And you guys can tell me in the comments what happened there, because they had a deal in place, and then the Maloofs said something about the structure doesn't look like it's going to work long term, so they pulled out. And then hence, that's how everything started going, like, hey, we are going to sell the team again. Then Seattle stepped up with the Hansen group. And so to have all that happen as far as Sacramento's part, and then to have to literally, it's the ninth hour for Kevin Johnson. Every day it's the ninth hour because Seattle is pushing strong for this team. And for him to fight through that and say that I'm going to keep pushing, I'm going to find investors. When the one investor fell off because he had interest in another team, the Golden State, I think it was, and he just found the 24-hour fitness guy and whoever the other billionaire was, he kept finding people. He kept wanting to put stuff together, and that's a hats off to him. But it sucks for the city of Seattle because where do you go from here? The NBA says no more relocation. How do you feel, Seattle? What do you think about this? Is it fair? I think that David Stern personally does not have a vendetta versus Seattle. But I do think because Seattle was his own worst enemy, and here's what I mean by that. Seattle, because we made such an outcry, and I'll say we because I lived in the Seattle area for the past 12 years, because the city made such an outcry for the past several years when Oklahoma City left, the NBA knew it made a mistake when they took Seattle away. And for them to make the same mistake twice would be, I mean, in their minds, probably the end of the world. Because what's the precedent that you set? Because any team could leave now. They at least making it a standard that this isn't the example that we want to set by having a team leave from their city, because the fans are what drives NBA. The fans are what is paying everybody's salary and for arenas, and those are we're the ones that are paying for that. So they didn't want to hurt the fans again. That's what I think, and I think they said, and I read from one of the tweets from one of the sources that said the reason they voted this way is not because Seattle had a bad plan, but they could not take away what the city of Sacramento had did to make sure that the team stayed there. And you know what? My hat actually goes off to them for that. Because if the roles were flipped and this was Seattle the first time around, think about the Clay Bennett time, and you did everything that you could to make sure that the team stayed. and Seattle didn't the first time around. You did everything that you could to make the team stay, and you still lost the team, then how does that look to the NBA? It wouldn't look right. And Sacramento did everything that they could. And so anyway, that's what happened. Fans, I want to know what you feel. Whose fault is it? Is it David Stern's fault? Is it Clay Bennett's fault? You know Clay Bennett is part of the relocation and finance committee. He's on there. Is it his fault? Is it Seattle's fault? Is it Sacramento's fault? Is it anybody's fault? What should the NBA do next? They need basketball in Seattle. I think we can all agree with that. But how do they get the team there? Does Hansen go? Does he go find another team now? Does he go buy the Milwaukee Bucks and try to pull them there? Or is the NBA kind of setting the precedent by taking a stance right here? What do we do here? How do we get the NBA back to Seattle? How do we keep everybody happy? I think it's expansion. The league is even right now, so I don't think they can only expand by one team. They're going to have to expand by two. We know basketball will work in Seattle. Is there another market that it will work in? I mean, New Orleans, you know, they weren't for sale, but they had their dysfunction at the time, and the league took them over, and now they have another new owner in place that's going to keep the team in the city. But what do they do? What goes on? You guys tell me. This is your boy, J Noe, Jason Fredericks. Hit me up on the comments. Hit me up on Twitter. Y'all have a good one.